She's dear to us. And that's as it should be. The verdict, the results of Elizabeth Warren are clear. Coward. Can't be trusted. And she turned her back on us again.
By not endorsing Bernie Sanders, what this tells us is that any shred of progressivism that she has, anything she wants to see codified into law that would help people, she's not serious about. If you're not endorsing the candidate with the most progressive platform, then you can't say that you cared about big structural reform. You can't say that you're serious about beating Donald Trump, because Elizabeth Warren herself has spoken about Joe Biden's weakness against Donald Trump and his weakness as a general election candidate. So she's sitting back and she's saying, you know what? If I don't speak up, Bernie might lose. Trump is probably going to win. But I'm just too butthurt because Bernie's supporters sent me snake emojis. I mean, this is her legacy. This will be her lasting legacy. She didn't support the most diverse, enthusiastic, young coalition of voters because some of them sent snake emojis to her on Twitter after she smeared Bernie Sanders. That's the legacy that she wants to have.
I told you so. I told you Elizabeth Warren wasn't going to back Bernie Sanders and that Elizabeth Warren was in it for Elizabeth Warren, and you told me, Tim Black, you are being too hard on her. Some of you blocked me on Twitter, talk crap about me on Facebook, dissed me on Instagram. But I told you, this is what you have. You have a person who loves to talk about they're going to fight. Oh, I'm a fighter. I'm a big-time fighter. I'm a fighter. That's the fight I'm in. I'm in the fight. And when it comes time to fight, Miss Beth, once again, Elizabeth Warren has proven that she's not going to stick her neck out. She's not going to risk anything. And 2016 didn't teach you. 2020 better have. Learned you. You know what I'm saying? And here we are, guys. And where is Elizabeth Warren? MIA. MIA. Missing in action. So I don't want to hear any more talk about how great she is, how supportive she is, how progressive she is, and how we're being mean. Not only did she not endorse Bernie Sanders to try to quell some of the fears people have that Bernie can do this, not only did she not back Bernie when these neo-liberals, moderate Democrats lined up behind Joe Biden, she went on Rachel Maddow's show and threw him under the bus, and by extension, and also threw all his supporters under the bus for calling her a snake for doing the same types of things she's doing right now, which is projecting to the world that she's this progressive fighter, and at the end of the day, letting everyone down. Playing victim, that we are just too mean to her, and using it like a caveat, like, see, I'm not going to endorse Bernie because you guys said mean things on Facebook and Twitter. And since you said me things on Twitter, all the things I say I stand for, I'm not going to stand for them. Because I'm upset. I'm upset, Tim Black. And I'm upset, Rachel. Rachel, you know, I fought really hard to not stand for anything. I mean, when it's inconvenient.
Just think about, though, if the shoe were on the other foot, if Warren had been the one who romped in the early states and Bernie had been the one to drop out, would he have even one moment of hesitation before endorsing Warren? Would he consider even the teeniest, tiniest bit how her supporters had hurt his feelings, or how such an endorsement would help or hurt him personally? Because when it comes down to it, I don't actually believe for 1 second that Warren's decision really has to do with mean Bernie bros and Twitter hostilities. Just as in 2016, it has everything to do with her own calculation of what will best serve her interests. And look, that's how most of these politicians make their calls, not based on ideals or values or policy, but on their own personal best interest. But Warren has held herself out as something different. She's claimed to be an idealist whose first and only commitment is to the fight. And indeed, we did see some of that in her early days in the Senate. Think about this. Warren was one of a very few Democrats who were willing to call the Obama administration out for their Wall Street and corporate-friendly appointments. And yet here she sits, quietly watching and doing nothing as Biden prepares for the next Wall Street administration. Why? Well, there was another name floated on that potential administration list: Treasury Secretary Elizabeth Warren. As we stand here today with voters casting ballots in primaries that could make or break Bernie, Warren has missed her window to actually be an ally, to actually prove that you can ever count on her when the chips are down. We know now, without a doubt, 2016 was no aberration. She will sell out every principle she's ever claimed to believe in for her own power positioning. She sees Bernie not as a friend and ally, but as a rival jockeying for position in the progressive lane. And look, occasionally, her interest and the interest of the working class may align in a way that's helpful. But don't fool yourself into thinking that she's doing anything other than playing the game. And here's the thing, she's not even very good at playing the game. As Ryan Grimm pointed out, if Warren wants to be in a power position with respect to a potential Biden ticket or administration, she's got to be able to bring something to the table. If she'd endorsed Bernie and campaigned for him, she would have created a lot of goodwill with the left, and she would have a real claim that she could help bring some of those people along by joining a ticket, that she really could help unify the party and help bring those energized young people who are fighting for a Green New Deal and Medicare for all along. Now, as it stands, she's just a sad third-place finisher in her own home state. Not special, not different at all. Just another typical politician with a slightly different brand name. And so, even if Bernie surprises in Michigan tonight, as he did in 2016, and Warren then swoops in with an endorsement, you already know everything you need to know. Any successful left populist movement cannot rely for one thing on Elizabeth Warren.
She has revealed herself both as lack of principled and lack of power.
And weak.
So making you utterly irrelevant to the conversation.
She's dead to us. And that's as it should be.